Okay,
So
so
before we start, I just wanted to
today,
ask, like,
today I plan to start with inheritance. So
okay, so before we start, can I just
yeah,
ask
tell
you one
me.
thing?
You have in doubt?
Yeah, it's not really a doubt, right? But it's just that I believe that Arthur and Karthik both have come to you and they've asked you to
Mm-hmm.
like join the group, right? To share the content,
Mm-hmm.
to share the material that we've come. So if they do that, like, and share the material, because like I haven't gotten time to practice in detail everything. Yes, I did go back and watch the YouTube videos that you did post, right? But you did
Yeah, I
add
post
some
the
same
videos.
same video.
So inheritance. So inheritance means code reusability. Means what? Code. So we can reuse the code, existing code, to add new features to it. So what happens in inheritance is we have a class called as the parent class or the base class, and from that parent class we can derive a new class called as the child class. So this is the parent class, and from this parent class we can derive a class called as which class?
Child.
Yeah, so the parent class is also known as base class, also known as super class, and the child class is also known as derived class, and also known as your subclass. Okay, so you can use any of the terminology. You can use child, derived, or sub, or you can use parent, base, or super. I would want you to stick to this terminology.
Yeah, sure.
I would want you to stick to this terminology. Super and sub. So we'll call the parent class as,
Super.
and the derived class as the
Sub.
subclass. So now we have types of inheritance. So we have in C++ we had 5 types. How many types?
Five.
So they are single, multiple, hierarchical, and multi-level and hybrid. This we had in C++. Now out of these, 4 have been carried forwarded into Java and one has been left out. The one which is left out is multiple. Which is left out?
Multiple.
So multiple inheritance is not supported by Java. Which inheritance?
Multiple.
Yeah. So I'll explain this in detail. So I'll explain this in detail to you now. So let's take a simple example of a single level inheritance of a. So I'll make a class called as person with attributes as his social security number, then his name, his age, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
and this person will later on be working for a company, so he'll become a
Employee.
employee. When he becomes an employee, his social security number, name, and age will be used by the company. Yes or no?
Yes.
So instead of recoding it, I will reuse the above existing code. And what extra attributes will be added to the employee?
No.
Employee number,
Rank.
designation, And salary, yes or no?
Yes.
So now, how many total data members are there in the class person?
Three.
Total data members is 3. And how many are our year in employee?
Six.
Yeah, so I'll be reusing the above 3, right?
Yeah.
So that is the form of inheritance. So I will inherit the person class in the employee class. I'll inherit the person class in the employee class.
Yes.
I'll inherit the which class?
Person employee class.
Person.
Yeah.
I'll inherit the person class into the employee class, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get going. So let's start the program. Okay, so which class do I make first?
Person.
Okay, now in this class person, now see one thing. Private data is not inherited. First point. What is not
Yeah.
inherited?
Private data.
So inheritance means private data is not inherited. Am I understood?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I want to inherit the data, I should not give it private, right?
Yes.
So we can give it protected. We can give it what?
Protected.
Protected. So that will inherit also and will provide security also. So protected for integer SSN. Okay.
Yeah.
Then what else? Okay, if I don't give anything, it is package level. What is the default scope?
Package. Yeah.
Yeah, the default scope is package level. And if you
Yes.
want to give security along with inheritance, give what? Protected. String.
Yeah. And what in line one, don't we have to add public class instead of just class?
Yes.
In line one, doesn't it have to be public class
This
or
class
private
public
class?
over here.
Yeah.
No, no.
Or can we just leave it as class?
I'll no, we won't use it public right now. So we had how many attributes? We had
Name and age.
SSN and age. Okay. So now this constructor, let's have a default constructor.
Yeah.
So we'll do what? Public, and the name of the class is your default constructor. So default
Yes.
SSN is, let's say, 100.
Okay.
Default S name is, and default age is like 20. And if I want to write a parameterized constructor, first argument is a, second argument is string, and third argument is again int. Yes or no?
Yes.
And a goes into SSN, b goes into this, and c into this. Correct?
Yes.
What if I use the same variables? What difference do I need to make? If I use the same stuff, then for the LHS I have to use this operator. Which operator?
What do you call it?
So, so if I use the same to remove the ambiguity, I have to use this. I have to use what?
This.
This. Okay. So you can use
Yes.
the same variables also, but you should use this on the LHS. Correct? Okay. If I want to display the details
Yeah.
of the person, so how will we do this?
This is what I've done in my problem.
Person SSN is plus SSN, right?
This is yeah.
And name is, okay. I just mark two string for today. just put down on your notes toString. We'll do that today. If time permits, we'll do this today. So, which function?
string.
Yeah, just mark it down somewhere. So,
Does this
once
just convert? Sorry, just does this just convert like any integer value or
no,
double
it converts toString
value?
converts an object to an string. Converts an
Okay.
okay, so person name is and person age is right. Okay,
Yeah.
so far so good. Close this. Now we make one more class by the name and to inheritance we use a keyword. Which keyword do we use to inherit?
I'm
Which
not sure.
keyword do we use to inherit?
Thanks.
Extends, right? So all the protected and public data of the class will be inherited. By writing this one keyword is as good as I am copying and pasting this over here. This will just copy paste the data over here. Am I right? So we
Yeah.
don't want duplication, so I just remove it. So it has, but virtually it has copied everything from the top to this class. Okay. Now, what will the class employee have extra? And correct? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Now my question is, how many arguments will you have in the parameterized constructor of the class employee?
We can have six total.
Yes, correct. Now, what is this? Which constructor is this? This is the
This is employee constructor.
default. So how many variables will it give values to?
Three.
3 or 6? Because
Six. Sorry. Yeah. There are
this
six.
class had 3, so it gave to 3. This class has how many?
Six.
So this will give to how many?
Six.
So we'll go to SSN and and now default E number is 111. Default designation is manager and default salary, let's say, is £1,000. $1,000. Now, what do you feel over here is duplicated? Where is the code duplicated over here? Can you can you tell me?
SSN is name age.
This has all this line number 37, 38, 39 has
38.
already been done over here. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So why
Yes.
don't we just call this constructor over here? Right or wrong? So for
Sorry.
that we have super. We have what?
Super.
So super is used to invoke the parent class constructor. Is used to invoke what?
Third class.
Invoke, or what do you say, call parent class constructor. So directly what we can do is just write super, and if we are using super, it should be the very first line of your constructor. You cannot do like this super will not work. Am I understood?
Yeah. Yes.
What did I say?
And when you have to invoke the superclass, then you have to put it as the numbers. Like
Yeah. So
inside,
what will this super with an empty bracket do?
it's just gonna call the parent class. So
I don't think so. We need an empty bracket. You just use the keyword super, I guess. I guess we just use the word super.
it checks line 20. So I'm
Yeah.
just gonna take a guess. Like it checks like line 29 where you declare the class, and
20.
it's extending somewhere else, and it's gonna take the parent class.
Yeah.
What do you
So
got?
I guess this is like this. Yeah, it is like this. So what is this calling?
Person and the person constructor.
It's calling the default constructor. Parent class, which constructor?
Default.
Because while giving super, I have not given anything. Have I given anything over here?
Nope.
No. Okay. How many arguments will be in the parameterized constructor of the employee class?
Um,
Huh?
that's gonna be three only. I
No, it
believe
will be
this should
6.
be three.
It will be 6 because it has inherited 3 from the top, right?
Okay. Alright. Yeah. Yeah. So I see the deal.
So it
It's
will
just
be
yeah.
6 and 3 it will give over here. E number, if you wish to use the same stuff. Now, these 3 have been initialized by whom?
By the person constructor.
By the parameterized constructor of person class, yes or no?
Yes.
So if I want to use that, then I will call super with the arguments. I will call super and pass these arguments to it. Am I understood?
Yeah. Yes.
So when you pass some arguments to the super constructor, it will call the parent classes
The parent. Parameter.
parameterized constructor, right?
Yeah.
Getting this point?
Yeah. I
And
got
the
it.
call to super has to be the very first line of your program. And
Yes.
the super call should be
Very
what?
first line of the very first line of the constructor.
Yeah, should be the very first line of the constructor. Okay, just remember this. Okay, now we come here. Okay, now what is to be left to be assigned? E number.
The other three. Yes.
So this dot e number equals to e number. Why am I using this?
Because it's like the variable name is the same as the parameter name.
Correct. So you differentiate that by using this on the LHS. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now if I want to display the details of the employee, I'll make a function. Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
So I want to display all his 6 attributes. All his 6 attributes. I want to display his social security number, name and age. Plus, along with that, I want to display his E number, designation and salary. Now what do I do?
You can call
Function.
the display
Yeah, so you can
person.
call that as super with the function name, right?
Okay.
So if you are calling a function, you have to give super dot the function name. To call the constructors, just give super. Understood this?
Okay. Yeah.
And the remaining 3, this will display, correct? So employee number is a number, employee designation is and employee salary is. Am I understood?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can I call this super over here in between? Yes, no, maybe.
You can do it, but the information is gonna be displayed after the designation.
Yes, correct. It's only when you are calling a constructor that call should be the first line of the constructor, right?
Yeah.
If you are calling any other function, you can call it in between wherever you wish to. Understood what I said?
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is done. This is done. Now to do, we'll make one more function class inheritance main, and in this class, what will we make? Public static void main. Now, which class object do we need to make? Employee or manager? Yeah. Class person or employee?
Sorry, what was the question?
Huh?
Your voice cut out. What was the question?
Which object will we make? Will you make class of employee, object of class person, or object of class
Class,
employee?
class employee because it contains everything in class
Yeah.
person.
So now when I make this without any arguments, and if I call even dot display employee, what will it display?
All of the information.
So this is being made by which constructor? Line 64.
It's made by the employee controller.
Which default constructor, right?
Yeah.
So we'll go over here, right?
Yes.
What will it call?
It's gonna
So,
call the
so
default
now when I make an
hierarchy.
object of the class employee, how many data members are there in the class employee?
There's six.
Six, right? Namely, e number, e name, sorry, SSN, S name, and age, e number,
Employee number.
designation, salary, right?
Salary. Yeah.
So now when I made an object by the default constructor of employee, we'll go here in this constructor, right?
Yeah.
What is this calling super? Super means the default constructor of the parent class.
Yes.
So this will be the details, right?
Yeah.
So for these three, the details will be this, correct?
Yes.
And the other three, we are giving it below.
December was one more.
We are
Yeah,
giving it
was
over
one
here,
more
right?
one. Yeah.
Correct? Are you getting this point? Now when I display this employee, if I call display function with this employee, what will it display me?
Yes.
All this, right?
Yeah.
So now when I call display even dot display employee, now it displays the details of all six, right? Now there are how many classes in this source file?
There's two classes, two main
Are you
classes.
sure?
But three because now there's also the public
Three.
and the main
Out of
class.
the three, which class contains main?
The inheritance main.
That class will be made public. Will be made,
Okay.
and the class which is made public, program will be saved by that class name. Am I understood?
Yes.
Yes, no, maybe. So now if I go and compile, if I go and compile this, if I go and if I go and compile this is come, oh my 33 errors, 30. Okay, let me go to the error messages. What are they? It says super. Okay, I didn't comment it properly. I didn't comment this properly. Okay, first thing first. So I commented, save it, and again compile it. This is 15 errors straight away. Okay. Now let's come to what are the other errors for. Okay, again there is one more I haven't commented right. So save it
Yeah.
and so code compile right. There was weren't any errors. You getting it, Krish?
Yes.
And now let's
Yeah.
run it. Let's run this. So this should display me the 6 details. Get to the point?
Yes.
SSN name, age, SSN name, age, SSN name, age. Why is it doing twice? Why is it displaying twice? Have you made two objects? Why I called it twice over here. You see?
Yeah.
That's why I was displaying twice. Now I compile it, run, and run. Done. Okay. Now to
Yes.
the employee class, I add few extra attributes such as he is earning a bonus. He is earning a
Yeah. Bonus. Yeah.
bonus. Now tell me what is the total salary. Oh, and okay. We'll stick this to over here. This we'll just keep it over here. So, which inheritance did we study over here now? Single inheritance. What did we study?
Single inheritance.
In single inheritance, we have one sub and one superclass. We have what?
Yeah. One subclass and one subclass.
Subclass. So, our superclass was,
The parent. Sorry, the person. Person.
and our subclass was.
Employee.
Okay, this is single. Now we'll do multi-level inheritance. What will we do?
Yeah. Multilevel inheritance.
Multi-level is what happens. Person, this employee, after let's say 5 years, becomes a manager, becomes a becomes a manager, correct?
Yeah.
So this is my second subclass. So when I made employee, what did I say? Class employee extends person, correct? Yes or no?
Yep.
So now what will I say to class manager? Hmm?
We call employee and also person as a two parent.
Extends employee, extends multi-level, right? So manager is extending which class?
Yeah. To employee.
Employee. Okay. So this class
Yeah.
person had three data members. These were inherited over here, right? Plus this employee had its own three, made it six. Now how many is this inheriting? Are you getting the point?
Or was it just one?
Why four?
Sorry, could you go back to the code for one second?
Class person had how many data members?
Last person had three.
Three. SSN, name and age, yes or no?
Yeah.
So when I said employee extends person, these three were
Yes.
inherited. Yes.
Yeah. That's right.
And plus employee gave its own three: employee number, designation, and salary. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So class employee had total how many?
6.
Now when the class manager is extending employee, how many is it inheriting?
Six is being inherited.
6. And plus it will give two, one of its own, let's say bonus. What is it giving?
Bonus.
Now how many total does the employee have? The manager have?
7.
7. So now if I make over here one more class, class manager extends which class? Employee, right?
Employee. Yeah.
And I will give it protected double bonus, correct? Now I want you to
Yeah.
guide me with the constructor for this class. Come on, tell me.
It's going to be public manager, open close
This is the
bracket.
default one, right? And if I call over here
Says
super,
super
will call which class
person.
constructor?
Employee. Employee.
Will call the employee class constructor, and the employee class constructor will call the.
The person.
This is called constructor chaining. This is called as what?
Constructor training.
Yeah, getting the point?
Yeah. And
So
sorry, I just had another question. So you said that from employee to manager, like the two classes, they get the promotion, and on top of they also get the bonus, right?
yeah,
So shouldn't we also change the string value or the designation?
designation.
So like originally, should we have the original string, the original designation value just to be set as employee?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we have the new class for manager, right, in there we can have it like designation is equal to manager.
So we can give a new designation over here, but we cannot change the data members over there. So
Okay, so we can so like protected, does it just like when you use a protected variable class, like does it just share the values, but then you can't change the values that are being shared?
we
Is that
can
what's happening?
inherit it, we can change it by program. So we can always change it by program. So we'll try changing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the bonus, right? Now this class, now what is just need to assign over here? Let's say the default bonus is $100. How much?
Okay. $100. Yeah.
Okay. Now if I were to make the parameterized constructor, how many arguments do I need to pass?
We're gonna need just
7.
7.
I'll be copying these, correct?
Yeah.
And pasting it over here along with a double bonus.
Bonus.
And what do I do over here now? In my super, I pass these 6 arguments, right?
Yes.
So in my super,
You forgot the L
I'll
for
be
sound.
passing these 6 arguments. Okay? And
For salary, you forgot the L at the end.
okay. And then what do I do? This dot bonus equals to. Okay, now I want you to calculate the total income of this manager. Can you do that for me? Calculate total
This
income.
manager, the original salary
Yes.
was 1,000, and you get $100 on top, so it's gonna be $1,100.
So if I want you to write a function to calculate total income, what is the total income of this manager? Tell me.
It's going to be SAL plus bonus.
Salary plus bonus, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And sorry, one more thing. Line 72, you forgot to add the L for salary.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
this will need the salary, correct?
Yes.
So what I can do is I need a function over here which returns the salary. So double get sal. And what will this function do? Will return me the
Return salary.
salary. Okay. Now I want to call this which function?
Get salary.
Get sal function. So I'll call it how? Tell me. Which keyword will I use to
Employee
call the
dot
get
get
sal?
sal.
Which keyword will I use to call this get sal function? This get sal is in which class?
Person.
Which class?
Person. Employee. Sorry, employee class.
Employee. And manager is
Yeah.
what to an employee? Subclass, correct?
It's subclass.
And
Yeah.
employee is my superclass, correct?
Yes.
So what I can do? I can take a local variable, double salary, basic salary, and how do I fetch the basic salary? I will use super dot get sal. Get the point?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And then to calculate total income, I'll take one more
Okay.
variable.
We can print it.
Total income equals to what? Basic salary
Basic
plus
salary plus bonus.
bonus, and I'll display the. So like this, you can always call your superclass function in the super keyword. Total income
Yeah.
of manager is okay. So now I'll make an object of which class now here? Manager.
Manager.
M1 is new manager. This will make default class, and we haven't displayed it, right? We haven't displayed manager, yes.
But we haven't not yet.
So how will I do that? Super dot display employee, correct?
Yeah.
And I'll say what bonus is, and then what display manager can call calculate total income, right? So this function
Yeah.
will be called internally. So whenever I call display manager, total income will be called along with it. So
Okay.
getting the
And
point?
one more thing for yeah.
Yeah, tell me.
No, no, I was just gonna tell you about that F1 mistake. I was just gonna fix that. Everything else is fine.
Fine. So I'll just
And
come.
sorry, just another question just came up.
Yes, yes.
So for the display manager class, right? Does it have to be like? Can it be before a function that's being called?
Which
So
one?
you see how in line 86 you're calling in line 86 you're
Yeah.
calling cal total income.
Yeah.
That is coming after this line. And so is that allowed here? Because in the C you have to reference it at the beginning.
Now, one function of the class can call another function of the class. So display manager and calculate total income of the same class, right?
Yeah.
So from one function, you can always call another function at any particular line. You want to call it over here,
Okay.
you want to call it over here, wherever you
Yeah.
wish to.
Okay.
Should not be a problem.
Yeah. I know it's not that. I was just talking about want the order? Like, it does it have to be before, after the
No,
class
no,
is
where do you
called, or
want
it
to
has its
display?
order?
Like after displaying the bonus, you want to display the total income, or you want to display it before the bonus is displayed?
That's not the point. I was just like wondering, right? Like, we're calling the function count total income on line 86, right?
Yes, correct.
So does the function count total income have to be before you are calling the function on line 86,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
does it automate?
it's not a problem. Okay, you mean to say that you should have written this body up like this?
Exactly on
No,
top.
no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, not a problem. This is not a problem. This class is one entire unit. So the location of the
Okay.
function doesn't matter. The physical
I
location
got
of
it.
the function doesn't matter.
Okay, done.
Okay,
That's fine.
should not be a problem.
Yeah.
So it was what error is it showing? It's showing at method returns. Okay, return type is void, right?
Yeah.
So I save this. I compile it. You see the compilation.
Yeah.
And now if I run it, do you see this?
Yes.
Now if I pass my own details to it, like this was for the default, right? Now if I make a manager with my own specifications, so if I give the social security number as 777, name, age, and then employee number, designation, and salary with the bonus. So now what? Now if I display M2 dot display manager, what do you think it will display me?
The same things for M1, but just for the new
Total
information
salary
that's
will
been
be
uploaded.
8,080, right? If I say
Yes.
8,800, it will be 8,800 total income, right?
Yeah.
I compile this. So irrespective with which object you create, which constructor you create the object, it throws. Getting the point?
Yes.
So this is your multi-level inheritance. Have I understood how inheritance is working?
Yeah. Yes.
And
It
which
seems.
data is not inherited? Private data is not inherited. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I make any data as private, it will not be inherited by the class. Correct? Rest all is in
Done.
public, protected, is all inherited. Is this clear so far?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you remember in the starting, I had told you that Java, okay, then we have hierarchical inheritance. What do we have?
Hierarchical
Means
inheritance.
one class can be inherited by multiple classes. One class can be inherited by
Multiple classes.
multiple classes. Like one father can have two sons. This is the
Yeah.
base. This is the base class, and this base class can be inherited by two. Okay. So let's
Yes.
say this is the class employee. Okay, and it has employee number, employee name. Okay, and this is
Yeah.
part time, and this is full time. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is class part time doing?
It is giving part-time hours.
Extends which class?
Except employee.
Employee, right? And what is class full
Yeah.
time doing?
This one is also extending employee.
So this is called hierarchical inheritance, wherein one base class is inherited by. Okay, the class part time is daily wage earners, so we can give him integers, hours worked. How many hours worked?
Yeah.
And pay per hour. Double what?
Okay.
Pay per hour. And for the full-time employees, we can give what days worked, right?
Yes.
Integer days worked, how many days you worked, and double we can give them pay per day, okay, or salary, whatever
Yeah.
you can give it. So like this. So the e name and e number will be mutual, right? So I put it in a different class, and then I can inherit that class anytime. So now how many total data members are there in the class part time?
There's two. Straightforward.
Total plus this plus the e number and name, right?
Yeah.
And how many are there in this?
There's also four.
4. So like this, when you from one base class, the thumb rule is one class can have only one superclass. What is the rule in Java?
One class only and one superclass.
One class can have only one
Superclass.
superclass. So if you observe all this while, we had person, then we became employee. The employee had how many superclasses?
Employee had one.
Person. Then we became manager. Manager had how many?
Manager and employee.
So after the extends keyword, you can have only a single class name. You can only have a what?
Zero class.
You cannot have comma. You can't have double class name. Like you cannot have like this. A class A extends B comma C. This is not allowed. This is multiple inheritance. This is what?
Multiple methods.
This inheritance is not allowed in Java. One class cannot extend from multiple classes at the same time. Am I understood?
Yeah.
So this is which inheritance which is forbidden?
This is multiple inheritance, which is not allowed in Java.
Yeah. And see, whenever you forbid something, you always give a alternate for that. Yes or no?
Yes.
So a good government will always give its citizens alternatives. If it is forbidding to go somewhere, it will always give you an alternate for that. Okay, you can go here. We are restricting you to use service A, but you can always use service B, right?
Yes.
So, which inheritance has been forbidden by Java?
Multiple.
Okay, so for that it has given you an alternate called as interface. What has it given you an alternative?
Interface.
Interface. So what happens in an interface is you just have the name of the method without any description. So let's say if I have like okay, before interface, let me teach you what is an abstract method. What is a okay. Now if you observe, is there any method in this entire 106 lines, a method which is not having any definition? This is what I mean by a method which is not having any definition. It is just having a name without any method definition. This is called as abstract method. This is called as what? What is this called as?
Abstract.
Yeah. So do you observe any method as abstract over here? All the methods are having a definition, correct? But
Yeah.
if you make something of this nature, let's say I make a class student, and I have, okay, I'll just copy. Okay, let's make person only. Let's just replicate this. Okay. So we have a class by the name person, correct? Yes or no? Now, if I make a function over here, void display person, and don't give any definition to it, this is called as an abstract function. Am I understood?
Yes.
What is an abstract function?
Yes.
What is an abstract function? Yes, Krish. Am I audible? Hello. 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 Huh? Repetition. Yes, Krish. Am I audible? Yes, Krish. He's left and joined the game. Hmm? तो एसक्यूएल करना आपको आपका वो मिसाल मुझे कभी कभी पसंद है क्या मतलब वो दौड़ने वाला खूब भागा लेकिन तो दूसरा तो कोई नहीं कर वो ट्रेडमिल हाँ वो ना वो ट्रेडमिल पे दौड़ा ट्रेडमिल ट्रेडमिल हाँ सर वो ना नहीं होना चाहिए जब हमको पहले पता चल गया तो आपको गाइड भी नहीं चलेगा हाँ सर जो गाइड तो वो एसक्यूएल कर एसक्यूएल तो कर रहा हूँ सर Yes, Krish, what happened?
My network just crashed for a few minutes. I'm not sure what happened.
Okay, I'll just share. So this function display, is it having any definition? This is called as definition of a function, the curly bracket. Is this function having any definition?
It's not. It has no definition.
Is not having any definition, right? Such functions are called as abstract functions. Called as
Abstract.
these functions need to be prefixed the keyword abstract before it. Which keyword?
Abstract.
So okay, I'll parallelly form your notes. So what is abstract function? Tell me. You dictate.
Abstract function is a function that is
Functions which do not have a which do not have a definition are known as abstract function. Okay. Okay. Which they are prefixed by which keyword?
abstract.
Prefixed by abstract keyword. Okay. Now, if a class contains even a single abstract function, if a class contains, yes,
Yeah, the class contains a single abstract function.
that class becomes abstract class. Becomes which class?
Abstract class.
So third point is if A class contains even a single abstract function. Such class is known as abstract class, right? An abstract class is prefixed, they are prefixed with a keyword
Abstract.
abstract, right? Okay. Now, abstract class are compulsory inherit class. We cannot create objects of abstract class. We cannot create what? Objects of.
Abstract.
In other words, we can say it cannot be instantiated. So, can an abstract class be instantiated?
No.
No. It is a must inherit class. What is it? A
Must. Must inherit.
means what?
That you have to use inheritance to get.
So you need a class which has to compulsory inherit this. Now for this person, I need a class. So let's say I say class student what extends person.
Person.
Now what is the responsibility of the student class as per your logic?
It has to do something with the display person.
It has to override it. It has to
Override.
override means giving the same name and same argument to the function in the subclass. What is overriding?
Same name and argument.
Same name and same argument to the function in the subclass. So a superclass contains a function with the same name and same arguments, and the subclass also contains a function with the same name and same arguments. Means the subclass has done what? Overridden. Have I understood?
Yeah.
So abstract functions are must override. What are they?
Then you must override it.
Yes. So one more keyword abstract are what?
Must override functions.
You have to compulsorily override them. And abstract classes are
Must inherit.
yeah. So I hope you're understanding the concepts.
Yeah.
So if
But I just have one question about that.
yes,
Why is it that we have to use like abstract? Like, why would we want to use the abstract?
the reason being why we use abstract is like in your real world programming, we collate all the features of that application at a particular place in an abstract class or an interface. Let's say if you're making a mobile, if you're making a mobile, right? If you are a mobile manufacturer and we are making a mobile, so what all features will our mobile have? We'll collate them in a abstract class, you can say. Okay. So what all features? So our mobile should have a calling feature. Yes. It should have a messaging feature.
Pictures.
It should have a camera. Blah blah blah. So like this, we will just mention the features in the abstract class. Now, whichever class is extending it, let's say class iPhone extends what?
Mobile.
Mobile. So now iPhone will give the description to them as per their logic, as per their standard. So the calling will be as per iPhone. iPhone will override it as per their standard. Messaging iPhone will do as per their prototype and protocols. And camera they will use their specification, their hardware, their software, right?
got it.
And if let's say class 1 plus wants to make a mobile, so
They'll have its own
yeah, so we
features.
just mentioned the specs, and each class which wants can do the overriding as per their logic. Am I understood?
Yeah,
So this
got
so this is the purpose of abstract classes. So now if I want this to be made, if this to make sense, I'll have to override which function with some body to the function, right?
it.
Yes or
Yes.
no?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I can make object of which class?
Person.
Yes. No, I can't make object of person. I can make of person is an abstract class. Person is a abstract
Substance.
class, cannot be instantiated. You cannot create objects of person class. Am I understood? So
Yeah.
now, how many methods is the abstract class person having?
Two methods.
Three, right?
Three. Yeah.
How many are abstract?
One.
One. So even if there is a single abstract method, that class becomes a.
Abstract class.
Am I understood?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what if all the methods are abstract? What do you call such terminology? You call that as an interface. Call that as a.
Interface.
So if I have a class person interface, and if I have void function 1, void function 2, void function 3, how many functions?
Three.
And all of them are abstract, correct?
Yeah.
So such a terminology is called as an interface, wherein all the methods are abstract, correct?
Got
So now what is the purpose of this interface? You need to implement it. You need to what?
it. Implement.
So you extend the class, you implement the interface. Have I understood?
Yeah.
So which class is implementing it? Now what is the responsibility of the class student?
It implements person.
It needs to give definition to all the abstract
Step
methods.
value.
It needs to give definition to all the abstract methods, correct?
Yeah.
If it fails to do so, if it fails to do so, what happens to this class?
Which person class?
No, the student class. Now, how many method? Now see, interface person has how many abstract methods?
Three.
Namely, namely,
Function one. Function. Function three.
okay, student class. What did it say?
Implements use.
So implement is signing an agreement. Implement means signing a.
Agreement.
That agreement means I will override all your methods. I will override.
All your methods.
So how many methods has it overridden?
Only two.
Now which method it failed to override?
So your voice cut out.
Which method did it fail to override?
Function three.
So what happens to class student?
It's gonna spit an error and not follow
No,
the
no, no,
interface
no,
order.
no, no. It will become an abstract class. It will become an,
Okay.
because void 3 is still abstract over here. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So like
if
even if we don't then it's still going to be abstract.
Yeah, so if we are implementing an interface, we have to make sure we are giving definition to all its methods, correct?
Yes.
And if we fail to do so, then that class becomes a
Abstract.
abstract class. Am I understood?
Yeah.
Is this logic understood clear?
It's
All well?
yeah.
Okay. Now one more thing I wanted to highlight. There's this road and it is narrowing down, okay? So it is this is the widest, right? Part of the
Yes.
road, and this is the
First.
narrowest part of the road. So what would you like ideally? The road should get wider or wider day by day, or it should get narrow and narrow day by day. What would you prefer?
Wider.
So this is preferable, right? So this is
Yes.
permissible, you can say. So widening is permissible. Narrowing is narrowing is
Permissible.
okay. The widest scope of all the data specifiers is public, and the narrowest scope is of
Right.
private. Okay, and then we have protected over here. Besides private and default. What is default? If I don't specify anything is default. If I don't specify
That's
anything is there's no keyword. There's no keyword default. Okay. If you don't specify anything, it will consider as default. Like over here, like over here. If I don't specify anything to this, it will consider as the
default.
default. Okay. So default lies over here. Correct.
It's neutral, right? Basically, like it's not public nor private.
Yeah, if it's not public, private, or if it is not specified whether it is public, protected, or private, it is considered to be as default. Now you got to observe over here in overriding. In what?
Overriding.
This follow this road principle. What is permissible
Widening.
is permissible, but narrowing is not permissible. Narrowing is
Not.
okay. This is one thing. Second thing, the default specifier in a class is default one. For class, what do we have? The de
So,
for the default for a class is which type?
public, private.
No, default type. And the default for an interface is public. Default for an interface is
Public.
yeah. Now this is where the fun will start. So if I don't mention anything, okay, tell me what is the default specifier for this? Okay, I'll come over here. Tell me what is the default specifier for this function void display person? Line number 21.
And it's also public. It's
No,
default.
it's default. Why? Because it's in a
Default class.
it's in a class. In a class, if I don't mention any specifier, it will consider it to be as
Default.
default. So have I mentioned anything over here at line 21?
No.
So what did it take?
Like whatever the class is.
It has taken the default specifier. It has taken the which specifier?
Default. So, sir, like let's say the class for display person buys it. So let's say that class is given a private specifier.
This class over here.
Class person. Let's say that was given as private.
No, you cannot. These giving specifiers to the class doesn't affect the data members of the class. This in this whenever class is import, when we import a particular class from a package, remember?
Yeah, yeah.
So this public will be having its effect over there. So if I give a class public, it can be imported. If I don't give public, you cannot import that class. So giving the class public will affect over here is not correct. Giving the class public means it will be imported from the package. If you don't give public, you cannot import that class. It has nothing to do with these specifications. Okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. What is the default specifier for this double get sal?
That is default.
First, you want to see it. Where is it? Where is it? It's in a
Normal class.
it's in a class. So in a class, the default specifier is the default one, right?
Yes.
Getting the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now my question is, what are the specifiers for these?
Interface.
Yeah. So what is the default specifier for interface?
Protected by
Here. Here.
public.
Public. So they by default are public. So even if I don't write it, it is public.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. Now pay attention over here. What am I missing out on line number 10? What am I doing? See, this function 1 in the interface was public, right?
Yeah.
Now I am overriding it over here. What am I doing?
Default.
Yeah. So what is the specifier over here? This,
Gotcha.
this is a class, right?
Yeah.
So what am I making it to?
Default.
Default. So what am I doing? Widening or narrowing? I am turning a public to a default, right?
Yes.
So what am I doing?
You're narrowing it.
Is it permissible? No. So what should I ideally put over there? Either the same specifier or something wider, correct?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wider than public. Well, this is the widest.
Yes.
So what do I put over here?
None
Public. Get the point?
Yes.
So whenever you are overriding a method from the interface, you have to give the public specifier, because you have to give either the same specifier or a wider specifier, and there's nothing wider than public. Am I understood?
Yes.
Are you getting the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'll just give you a demo of this. So let's override these three methods first. Okay. Now while overriding, I'll remove the public over here. Okay. So this should ideally be in public, correct?
Yeah.
So now it will throw me an error at line number 10. It should ideally throw me an error at line number 10. Okay. And I save it as, okay, I save it as student abstract. Okay. Because there are a lot of student classes already made. So I want it to be different. Okay. Now when I try to compile this, it will throw me an error, and that error should be something that you're trying to make a public with a lesser specifier, right?
Yeah.
So student abstract. See, what is it telling you? Hmm?
Attempting to assign a weaker which was.
Yeah, it was public and you're trying to make it weaker, right? So public is the most strongest. Then public is the which is the strongest specifier? Strongest. So you can either keep it same or give a wider specifier, right?
Yeah.
While overriding, you cannot reduce, you cannot give a weaker specifier, correct? So in a class, the default specifier is this one, the middle one, default one. So public to default is narrowing, right? Correct?
Correct.
So I cannot do the narrowing. So overriding this rule should, you should remember this rule. Well, overriding always give the same specifier or give a same or give a
lower.
wider one. Correct?
Why?
See, okay, I'll just show it to you once more over here also. Okay, now if I have a class person, okay, and it has this function and it is overriding this function, let's say. Okay, now what is the specific specifier for this function one?
That's true.
No, what is the specifier for, okay, if I don't give anything,
Not true.
what is the specifier for
Default.
function one?
Default.
Default, right? Beautiful.
Yeah.
And now if a class wants to extend this class, what will I have to do? Class
Class.
demo 2 does what? Extends demo 1, correct? And
Yes.
what is this doing over here? What is it doing over here? In the parent class, I have a function with the same name, same argument, and in the child class too, I have the function with the same name, same argument. What am I doing?
You're making it public.
I'm
Overriding.
making overriding, correct?
Yeah.
Now, over here it is default, correct? Because it's a class.
Yes.
Now, what all options do I have now for overriding? I can have the same one or the wider one, correct? Can I use protected while overriding?
No, you know this
Can
is
I use
not
private as while overriding?
definitely not.
No, correct. So now let's do. Let's keep it default and check. So I don't give anything. Both are default, correct? Okay.
Yes.
And I'm overriding means I'm to change something new, right? So when I'm overriding means I'm overriding to hide to buy. Okay. So we are overriding
Yeah.
from Trump to Biden. Okay. So when you're overriding means you got to change something. Okay. Now how do I save this? How do I save this program as? Choose any file to be
Demo.
public. Choose any file to be public and save the program by that file name, correct?
Yeah.
Now will this program compile?
It should compile.
It will compile. Done.
Yeah.
If I make it public, will it compile?
That's same. Yeah.
Yes, it will compile. If I make it protected, will it compile?
No.
Why no?
It is at a lower position. At a
So
lower
what,
position.
weaker, something like weaker, it should show something like this. I'm using a weaker specifier, correct?
Yes.
So let's compile this. Oh my, it's compiled. How come it's compiled? In a class, this is
Did
default,
you
right?
you saved it right?
Yeah, I saved it. Yes, I saved it. I saved it. It's compiling.
Good.
So the this is in a class is the default one. Okay. Let's try doing private. Let's try doing it private. Private, I'm sure, is weaker than this. So I guess protected is towards the left then. Protected is towards the left of this thing. Protected is towards the left of this. Yeah. Correct? So
Yeah.
we've proved it practically. So protected has higher, stronger specification than public than default, correct?
Yeah.
And now let's do using private. So if I do using private, it shouldn't. Get the point? You see? Correct? So this in a class, you whenever you're overriding, either give the same specifier or give something which is broader, correct?
Yes.
So and this is something called as an interface, which has only what
Like abstract.
abstract method. So you don't, the functions are by default public and abstract. In an interface, the methods are by default public, and
Abstract.
so I don't have to write them. So it is understood that it is public and it is
Abstract.
in an abstract class. I have to write over there. If it is an abstract class, I have to write it to make sure that it is abstract. Clear?
Yeah. Yes.
But in an interface, it is considered that all of them are
Public and abstract.
public and okay.
Abstract.
And if you have any data in the interface, okay,
Yeah.
this data is by default static and final. Static and
Fine.
what is static
Which
meaning?
means that you cannot change it. Or it's
If
not
no,
being
you
changed.
can change it, but if it changes for all. Final is you cannot change it.
Okay.
So its final means you cannot change it, correct?
Yeah.
And this 10 will be referenced by all the methods, correct?
Yes.
So if I do a SOP, okay, if I try to tamper with this A, will it allow me?
No.
Why no?
Because it's final and you're not
Because
allowed to
it's
change.
it's like it's a constant, correct? So if I
Yeah.
compile this and try to run this, you see what happens over there. Student abstract, right? Student abstract. What was it telling me?
Modified out loud.
Cannot assign a value to a final variable, correct?
Yeah.
1 second. Sorry. Sorry. What's wrong? So, hello,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
So the by default data is static and it is
Final.
final, correct? So you cannot modify a final variable, correct? What? Okay, this
Yes.
keyword final, you have to refer it in its context, right? So if I say India is the biggest country, okay? So you'll ask me, sir, in what context are you talking? Like, is it the biggest what do you call it as? Biggest geographical wise big, or is it the biggest country with the highest literacy rate, or
Your population.
why what? Okay, is it the biggest which the number of movies released in a year, or is it population? By what term? Okay, the largest in what sense, right?
Yeah.
So when we say final, final in what sense? So final can be a data member, can be a data member.
Member.
Final can be a member method member, and final can be a class. Can be a, if I prefix final to a data member, final integer a means what?
So you
Value
cannot modify.
cannot be modified, correct?
Yeah.
If I prefix it to a before a method, final void display means what?
You cannot change the information inside
You
of that
cannot
function.
be over, you cannot overwrite it. Cannot be
Alright.
cannot be overwritten. written. So with the same name and same specification, you cannot make a method in the child class. So let's come over here. So in my if I make over here final double get sal, means what? What does this mean? In the child class, you cannot make a method with the same name and same argument as this. You cannot override this. You cannot. What you cannot do?
Override.
Cannot, because it's a
Final.
so final method cannot be overridden. Correct?
Yes.
And if it's to a class, that class cannot be inherited. Cannot be inherited. So what is the difference between final class and abstract class? Final class A and abstract class B, what's the difference?
So final class A cannot be changed.
It cannot be inherited. It cannot be.
Inherited.
An abstract class B?
It can be inherited.
No, it must be inherited. Like a person is there in the college or university, and he's a big bully, always harassing people. So you are saying you are not allowed to my function, correct? And
Yes.
your best friend, you are.
Must allow.
Yeah. So final class cannot be inherited, means not, no chance at all. Yes or no?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And abstract class,
Must be inherited.
that's the only way you can make it work. It must be inherited. Unless until it's inherited, it is of no good, because it cannot be instantiated itself, correct? So there should be a class which inherits it and instantiates it, correct?
Yes.
So this is the keyword I wanted to stress on. Which keyword?
Must cannot be and must be inherited.
Correct?
Yes.
Getting the point?
It's all coming together, all the points.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
So I'll just take the screenshots and push it on a WhatsApp group right away, because then once I switch off the laptop, it becomes very tedious for me to again join. What's the group name?
That's
What's it?
my job. My class with Krish.
What's the group? Is it have the Krish keyword? Yeah,
Yeah.
Java class Krish. Okay, yeah. So I'll just keep on pumping the data from here. Once I switch off the laptop, it becomes very tiring for me to again switch it on. So I also wanted to give you notes on the abstract class, right?
Yeah.
So this.
Can you also share the notes for the previous classes as well?
Yeah, sure. I'll just pick them, and I'll share this program also. Try running this program. Okay, and interface correct. So just a vanilla flavor interface we can do. So if this is overriding all of them, right? So we're adding func1, func2 and func3. So we can have object of which class made. We can have object of student class, right? So if to make this work, what you can do? Just make a public class by what name? Interface main. And which method do we write in it? Public static void main and
String
string
arms.
args, correct? And then which class object will you make over here? Make object of. But is this abstract anymore? It is not abstract. It was abstract because I had not given body to this, correct?
Yes.
But now is it abstract?
No one else.
Okay, so you can just make it app student. You can say student interface inter student. Okay,
Yeah.
because I have a lot of class with the same name. So what will you make? inter student, S1 is new inter student, and make, and then using S1 you can call the functions, correct?
Yes.
Get the point? So maybe
Yep,
in the
that's all the way.
next session we'll take few more programs on this. So like this you can make the function, make use of the interface, correct?
Yeah.
So I'll share this also on the group, the interface. Then we did abstract class, right? This is the
Yeah.
abstract class, but we didn't do any program on that. Okay, we did a program. Okay, so we had this public person, and then we had only one abstract class method, display person. So whichever class had to extend it has to give body to this. Whose object can we create now? Whose object can we create in the main?
Intermediate.
We can create object of which? We can create object of which? Where is it? We can create object of which class over here? Can I make object of the class person?
Yes.
No. No.
No, that's right.
Can I make object of class student?
Yes.
Yes, because it has over extended this class and overridden this method, right?
Yeah.
It has to override the method. So I can make object of the student class, correct?
Yes.
And with that, I can call the functions, whatever I wish to call. Getting the point?
Yeah.
So this is, I'll give you abstract one, okay? Try running them. If there are any errors, send me the WhatsApp.
Okay. And sir, like, would it be possible to just get like some like practice programs to like work to get some like grip on the on this concepts that we covered today?
Yes. Yeah, Krish?
Oh yeah, I was just saying like, would it be possible to get some like practice programs to get some grip on the concepts that we covered today?
Practice program. We did in the starting, right? So, see, this is my constructor demo program. So this you can practice. Then we had this static import demo. This you can practice. And we had other programs too in the start. We had the student main, the first program which we had created, correct?
Yeah.
So this too you can practice, and this array of objects you can practice. Then did we do static with you? Yeah, static. I guess in the array of object we did the static part of it. Okay, here it is.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, this is a scanner program to add two numbers, simple one. So this you can practice this also. I'll dump them all. Just go through them once. If any difficulty, just text me. This is not. Is this yours? Yeah, this was the your one which we had to search for a particular record if it is found or not found. So these are there. Static import I've sent you. Constructor I've sent. Okay, there's this record for a student. Void keyword is prefix before a function does not constructor doesn't return anything. But okay, the other VIP privileges of a constructor.
Sir, maybe it's just easier like to make a zip file, a zip folder of like the Krish Java folder, right? And just share the whole folder. That would just be
Okay,
a lot
okay,
easier.
okay, okay, okay. I'll do that. I'll ask someone to do that and send it to your cross. No problem. That
Yeah.
would be much easier, right? Instead of
Instead
yes,
of like having to go through each and every single one,
yeah,
I'll just go
sure,
through it
sure,
myself and put whatever I say.
sure. So, particular. I just send you this also. Particular object class for the entire class. So, yeah. So I'll ask this person to go through this chat and from this chat only he'll prepare the document. So we have at least all collated at one central place, right? So
Yeah.
at least at this one central place, we have everything collated, right?
Yeah.
So
If you want, you can only do the zipping right now. It takes 2 seconds to zip. Because like these are going to be small text files.
yeah, Krish.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you want, you can do the zip. If you can zip the folder right now, it takes like literally it takes 2 to 5 seconds.
Uh, we haven't seen you. Okay, you want me to this folder? You want me to zip it?
Yeah, like
Okay, okay,
Krish
okay,
Java. Yeah.
okay, okay. I can do that also. Okay, okay, I'll do that also. No problem. But I have to close all the files which are open. I guess else it won't add it to the archive. It's done. Okay, it's done, 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 done. There is Java, and I need to send it to the WhatsApp chat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 not a problem. That's how I normally share my programs. And
Yeah.
okay, so now we'll be having the next session
Thursday.
Thursday, same 4 o'clock.
Yeah. At 4:30, right? Or 4
4,
o'clock. 4 o'clock. 4
yeah,
o'clock.
4 o'clock will be fine. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Perfect. Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you
Take
very
care.
much, then.
Take care, Grace. Bye. Hmm. क्या बोले अरे रे 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 नॉनसेंस जंगली आदमी